Iraktana Zaguf, that the body, every person's behavior and their conduct is compared to a city. So he goes into the details of what's the components of a city. How do you categorize? How do you define a city? Interesting thing. He says the Talmud tells us that the human being is compared to a city. By analyzing the ills that plague modern day cities, we could, by comparison, gain an insight into the spiritual ills that plague modern day man. Interesting thing. You want to know how to fix your problem? The Gemara compares a person, to a city. Let's take a look at a city. Let's analyze a city. He says, what's the purpose of having a city? People used to live in the fields, in the countryside, in the village. The original concept of urban living was a very sound one. Very sound, very logical. The purpose of taking up residence in one central area was to expedite the exchange and distribution of goods and services. If you live in the countryside, you have to travel 20 kilometers or 15 miles to bring your merchandise. Well, there you have next door. You go over, you buy, you sell. It's much easier. It's much more practical. Good. Also makes more traffic, but that's part of life.
North Bay Village.
North Bay Village. Centralization also allowed the city dwellers to pool their protective forces against the hazards of fire and crime. You're living out there in the country, who's protecting you? You protect yourself. It's not the same. You have 50 people together, you're a force. Same thing with a fire, God forbid. There used to be a lot of fires. You have a lot of people, they come quickly, and they'll try to extinguish it. They'll help each other. So there's a lot of benefits of living in a city. But there's also, there's also the disadvantage. In short, the city was meant to give the citizens the means to live a better life. The major cities of modern day America do not carry out the purpose of which they have been established. They seem to be getting strangled by their own growth. Very deep. Movement within the urban congestion is highly uncomfortable. Traffic. Noxious fumes spell ill health or even death to those who inhale city air. Grave danger of attack threatens those who venture to walk the unsafe, crime-ridden streets of the big city. All of a sudden, there's a lot of crime. Supposed to be less crime. There's more crime. So what happened? He's going to tell you what happened. So smart. The economic gains are canceled out by the horror of the congestion, pollution, and crime. The point has been reached where it has become more desirable to live outside the cities than within the boundaries. So he explains over here that the Torah says that there should be an open place in front of the big cities in Eretz Yisrael. Every city had to have an empty Torah law. He brings from the Sefer Bamidbar, Numbers, provides for the establishment of the cities. How do you establish a city? At the same time, it requires that a limit to be set to their growth. The Torah says that a green belt upon which no building is allowed must surround the original boundaries of these cities. Had the lust for expediency not been given into, and had limits been set to the size of cities, America would not be in the sorry state in which it finds itself now.
It became too big.
Came to be. It outgrew. It went so quick. You lost control. Then it's chaos. There has to be a limit. Same thing he says. The human body, its appetites, desires, and ambitions were meant to provide a good place for the soul to dwell. Eating good food will give us health and energy. A good physical husband-wife relationship will enable us to produce and raise a family in a spirit of love and harmony. Ambitious pursuit of a trade or craft can give us the means with which to live a good life. Just as a city can lose its value by uninhibited growth, so can the human being, the little city, defeat his own purpose by overindulgence and appetite, desire and ambition. Instead of bringing him good, these qualities will do exactly the opposite. Overeating destroys a person's health. Unbridled lust breaks down family life. And the ill effects of overwork render the extra money earned worthless. The answer to our modern day urban problems does not lie in the total abolishment of cities. The cities must merely be whittled down to a manageable size. The same is true concerning human endeavor. We cannot eliminate appetite, desire, and ambition, but we must keep them from getting out of hand. This realization is the first step to tshuva. It will motivate us to seek out ways and means to keep our forces under control so that their effects will be to our benefit and not to our detriment. We will begin to live a new life regulated by the Torah, knowing that it is for our good. So you see an interesting perspective. You learn the Gemara when the Gemara talks about that the person is compared to a city. There's many interpretations, but how Rabbi Weberman compares it to the actual modern day city and brings out current issues that are really important for us to deal with today. It's amazing how the Chazal already 2,000 years ago understood the mechanics, how things should work, how it won't work, what will be the best solution. Balance. You have to have balance in everything. He says ambition is good, but with imbalance, the Rebbe always said, there's time to go to work, make time in the morning to go to shul, come in the shul in the evening, and also make time for your family. How are you going to have time? And for exercise. How are you going to do everything? If you're an organized person, you could do it. You have to get up early.
The Rabbi said exercise too?
Yeah. He said that the Rashba, who was one of the great Chachamim in Spain, Sephardic tzaddikim, Rav Shlomo Menendez, he always quoted that he writes.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. He writes in his diary or in his agenda, in his program, what he did during the day, that he even had time to take his talmidim for a walk. They used to walk with him, and as he would walk with them, he would talk Torah, but he would also accomplish that he wanted them to go out a little bit, get fresh air, and move around a little bit. It's healthy. The Rebbe said, you learn from the great Chachamim. If you're truly organized and balanced, you get a lot done. You have to do it with a lot of discipline. That's what he says here. So we're talking about traffic. You have to know how to deal with it. Everything has to be controlled. There could be traffic in the person's body also, in the person's mind. There's thoughts running back and forth. There's no lights, there's no stop signs. Boom, there's a crash. Your thoughts inundate you. They overwhelm you. You have to know how to control it. Same thing. Huh? How? So, one way is to start slowly. You can't go from 0 to 50 or 100 in one shot. So it's a gradual progression. It's like marriage. A person is going to say, how am I going to get married and take upon myself now all these responsibilities? My wife, my children, I have to pay rent, I want to buy a house. How am I going to do it? Especially if you're a yeshiva bacher and you don't even really have a proper income. Trade and a profession. How are you going to do it?
Step by step.
Step by step. First, you get married with someone who's responsible. You work, she works. You have already 2 incomes. Mm-hmm. Whatever work you're going to do, you have to work. Lazy you can't be. That's against the Torah. Adam la'am livo. The person has to toil You have to be responsible. It's a mitzvah to take care of your wife and children. Then you don't have 5 children all at once. You have 1 child with Hashem's help. You have a child. Now you have to deal with 1 child. You figure it out. You accommodate each other. You grow together. And you see, the Rebbe said an amazing thing. As you have, every child is born also with his or her parnasa. Hashem is not going to give you a child and not give you the means to earn a living. You have to go out and find a way, and Hashem will give you the seichel. Rabbi Weberman used to always tell us that back in Europe, in the days, centuries ago, until up to World War II, basically, but for many centuries, the goyim, the governments, Poland and Russia and all these places, they used to restrict the Jews. They didn't give them privileges. You can't go to the universities, and you can't be a lawyer, and you can't be a doctor most of the time. So what they said, the Jews figured out, business, the best thing. I don't need your favors. I don't need to be a doctor. I need to be a lawyer. Business! The Jews are smart. They know how to do business. And then the Goyim got jealous that the Jews are doing more business than they're doing. And that was a big problem. Because the Jews were many times money lenders. And when the people couldn't pay back their debt, the Goyim, they would see that they're getting, the rope is around their neck. They'd go and attack the Jew. With force, with violence. Sometimes kill him. Get out of the debt. That was another problem. But Jews always survived and always managed to find a way to be successful with Hashem's help. Only with Hashem's help. You don't let me do this. Like now there's a problem in New York. They already voted that they don't want the yeshivas to have control on the curriculum. They're going to govern, the New York State is going to govern, is going to rule, is going to decide that they have to learn the curriculum, what they decide. You can learn Torah, but you also have to do a lot of, it's a terrible thing. Why? Because it means that we're not anymore a democracy. A true democracy, you don't go into someone's private business and tell them exactly, what about soon they're going to tell us how to pray? I'll tell you, we don't like the way you're praying. You have too many things in your book. In the Aleinu, it makes fun of the Goyim. It says that when Mashiach comes, all the Goyim are going to worship Hashem. Why do you have to say that? That's what it used to be. They used to censor all the books of the Talmud, and they took out many places, many pieces, many paragraphs, many statements that were against their beliefs, and the Jews couldn't do anything about it because they're in control. But democracy and liberty and is supposed to be that you can worship the way you want, you believe in whatever you want. No one's gonna.
The blue laws when I was a kid, they still had it. Where Sunday was the only day off. That was it. Everybody worked 6 days a week, including Shabbat.
Yeah, but Rabbi, it's the same thing.
Solomon,
it's the same thing.
Solomon.
What?
Soon. So may we all take these words seriously. And
a story from yesterday, your friend in Israel. How Hashem is in control.
Hashem is in control. Of course Hashem is in control. Hashem is in control all the time, and definitely we'll repeat that story on another occasion. It's an excellent story to remind us how a person should never despair, even when it looks like you have basically no chance to win. But if you're really doing it for Hashem's sake, and you really believe in the miracle of Hashem, you can see that miracle. But like we said Shabbos, you can't be selfish. You can't just pray for the miracle to happen to you. If you're a person that you want a miracle to happen to others, the miracle will also happen to you. I also learned that from Rabbi Weberman. He said that if you're a person that you tell Hashem that I have merits from my mitzvahs, and I'm willing to share my merits, my schuyos, with everyone. I want everyone to be blessed. Then what's going to happen? Everyone else's mitzvahs will also come back to you. But if you're not willing to share, then you're going to be on your own.
You said that, Rabbi?
Yeah, he used to talk about that. He says it's very important to integrate yourself with when you daven, you talk to. That's what it says in the Shemona Esrei. Refeinu, heal us. Baruch Aleinu, bless us. Shmak Aleinu, listen to our prayers. What does that mean? Hashem, I don't have enough merits, so help me in the merit of everyone. Why should He help you in the merit of everyone? If you want to be integrated with everyone, if you're ready to also share your merits, if you're asking Hashem to do a miracle with another person, then that miracle will come back to you. But if you're selfish, and you don't think about other people, you only think about yourself and your wife and your children, then you're on your own. Then what's going to be? You're limited. You always just say, be unlimited by being part of Am Yisrael. And this is a very important lesson that we can learn from this aspect. How does a person begin to do tshuva? First, he has to start thinking how the discipline and the balance that you have in your life is for your good, is for your benefit. It's not a restriction that's going to inhibit you, it's going to suppress you. No, it's going to make you grow. It's going to make you better. It's going to enhance your strength. It might hurt you a little bit in the beginning. You have to, control yourself, control your thoughts, control your words, but your actions, but you're going to feel much more accomplished. You're going to feel that you're doing it for Hashem's sake. You're going to definitely have strength for yourself and for your family and for your friends to be an inspiration for many people.